That door you've been praying to open didn't open. You did everything right. You prayed, you fasted, you believed with everything inside you. And yet, silence, a closed door, a rejection, a no when you were expecting a yes. And quietly, in the back of your mind, a terrifying thought crept in. Maybe God isn't listening. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe He doesn't even care about what I'm going through. I need you to stop right there. Because what you're calling a setback, God is calling protection. What you're calling a failure, Heaven is calling a redirection. Before this video ends, you're going to understand exactly why God is closing that door, and why it might honestly be the greatest act of love He has ever shown you. Stay with me, because one of these reasons is exactly what you're facing right now. Let me paint a picture you might recognize. You've been waiting on something. Maybe it's a relationship, a job, a business, a ministry opportunity, a door you've been knocking on for months, maybe even years, and every single time it seemed like it was about to open, it shut again. So you started doubting yourself. Then you started doubting God. And that's exactly where the enemy wants you, confused, discouraged, and pulling away from the very one who holds your future. Here's what nobody tells you on Sunday morning. Sometimes the most loving thing God does for you is not give you what you asked for. Not because He's punishing you, not because you're not worthy, but because He can see what you cannot. He sees around corners. He sees the ending of the story. You're only in chapter 3 of Pika, and He loves you far too much to hand you something that would hurt you, no matter how badly you think you want it right now. Not every open door is a God door. Some doors lead to destruction, dressed up as opportunity. Think about it honestly. Have you ever looked back at something you desperately wanted, a relationship, a deal, a situation, and realized that if it had worked out, it would have wrecked you? I've talked to people who are genuinely grateful their prayer wasn't answered, because 5 years later, they could see exactly where that road was heading. God closed it before they got there. Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." You have a plan, God has a path, and sometimes those two things look nothing alike. When you chase a door God didn't open, you step outside of His covering. You start operating in your own strength, and outside of God's will is one of the most dangerous places a believer can be. Not because life falls apart immediately, but because it feels completely fine at first. The check engine light is on. You're just ignoring it. Before you push on that closed door again, pause. Ask yourself, not just, is this possible, but is this purposed? There is a massive difference between a door that is stuck and a door that is sealed. One needs effort, the other needs surrender. The question isn't whether you have the strength to force it open. The question is whether God put it in your path to walk through, or placed it there so you'd finally stop, turn around, and look at what He's actually prepared for you. Sometimes you can handle the blessing, but you cannot yet handle what the blessing will do to you. Imagine a young man who prays for a platform, for influence, for thousands of followers, and God says, not yet, not because the platform is wrong, but because at that stage of his life, with unhealed pride and unresolved wounds, that platform would have inflated his ego and destroyed his character before it ever helped a single person. Fame before foundation is not a blessing. It's a trap. Look at Joseph. The dream came at 17. The fulfillment came at 30. 13 years of closed doors, pits, slavery, false accusations, prison cells, not as punishment, but as preparation. The character required to govern Egypt couldn't be built in a weekend. God wasn't wasting Joseph's time in that prison. He was developing in him exactly what the assignment ahead would demand. And God is doing the same thing in your waiting season right now, whether you feel it or not. We live in a culture of instant everything, instant results, instant platforms, instant success. So when God slows us down, we think something is deeply wrong with us, but the delay is the development. Stop asking only God when, and start asking God, what are you building in me while I wait? The door will open when you are ready to walk through it without losing yourself on the other side. The wait is not wasted. It is working, and it is working on you. God will close a door when the door has become your God. Here's how it happens. You pray about this one thing constantly. Every journal entry, every fast, every tear is all about this one desire. And slowly, without even realizing it, your relationship with God becomes a transaction. You're not really pursuing Him anymore. You're pursuing the thing, and you're using Him to get it. Your prayer life is only about one subject. Your worship is conditional. And God, in His mercy, removes the thing to reclaim your heart. In Genesis 22, God asked Abraham to give up Isaac, the very promise He had given him. Why? Because Isaac had unknowingly taken God's place in Abraham's heart. God doesn't always take things permanently, but He will absolutely test whether you love the gift more than the giver. Idolatry doesn't always look like bowing to a statue. Sometimes it looks like a dream you cannot surrender, a person you will not let go of, a plan you refuse to release. When something matters more than God's will, it has become an idol. This week, get alone with God, not to ask for anything, not to present your list, just to worship, just to be with Him. Say out loud, Lord, even if you never open this door, you are still enough, and really mean it. Not as a strategy to unlock the blessing, not as a trick to make Him move faster, but as a genuine act of surrender. Because the moment you can truthfully say that and mean it from your core, something in the spiritual atmosphere around your life begins to shift. Some closed doors are not about direction, they are about disobedience. You're praying for a godly relationship, but there's still an ungodly one you haven't fully ended. You're asking God to bless your business, but you're still cutting corners in areas He's already convicted you about. You're seeking a new open door, but you haven't been faithful with what He's already given you. Before you ask God why the door is closed, ask yourself honestly whether there's something He's been waiting for you to do. Isaiah 59:2 says, "Your iniquities have separated you from your God." This is not condemnation. This is cause and effect. The enemy will tell you it's a small thing. God understands. It's not that serious. But small disobedience, left unchecked, grows into patterns. Patterns become strongholds, and strongholds become the reason you've felt spiritually stuck for months, maybe years. You keep asking God to move, but He's been waiting for you to move first. Obedience is not optional. It is the access code. Be honest with yourself right now. Is there something God has been nudging you about that you've been quietly ignoring? That nudge is not an accusation, it's a mercy. It's God speaking before He has to speak louder. Don't make Him raise His voice. Don't wait for a crisis to obey what you already know. The step of obedience you've been avoiding might be the very key to the door you've been begging God to open. Deal with what He's pointing at, and watch what He opens next. God never closes a door without a reason, and the reason is always better than what you lost. There is a woman who didn't get the job she wanted. She was devastated, felt overlooked and underqualified. 6 months later, she was offered a position she never knew existed, better pay, better hours, a team that felt like family. She said, "If the first job had said yes, I would have said yes to the wrong thing." The door didn't close to hurt her. It closed to redirect her to something she couldn't even see from where she was standing. Romans 8:28 says, "In all things, God works for the good of those who love him." All things, that includes the rejection, the closed door, the plan that collapsed, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that disappeared. All of it is being woven together into something good. You cannot see the full picture yet. You're standing too close to the canvas. But God is the artist, and he has not abandoned the painting. He is still working every single thing, including the painful things, into a masterpiece. The danger is giving up too soon. Too many believers walk away from their faith right before the breakthrough. They mistake not yet for never. They mistake redirection for rejection. Shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this close?" ask, "Where is God directing me now?" The closed door is pointing somewhere. Your assignment is to follow the direction, not to stay in the pain. The next chapter is being written, but you have to turn the page to read it. Faith that only works when doors are open is not faith, it is convenience. God is not building fair weather believers. He is building people whose trust cannot be shaken when the storm hits hardest. And the only way to build that kind of unshakable faith is to let you experience the shaking. Praising God when things go your way is easy. Trusting him when you don't understand, when the answer is no, when the silence feels deafening, that is the faith that moves mountains and confounds hell. Job lost, his business, his children, his health, his reputation, and his closest friends in what felt like moments. And in the middle of all of it, Job 13:15 records him saying, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." That is not the prayer of a comfortable man. That is the prayer of a man whose faith has been forged in fire. God is not closing doors to break you. He is closing them to forge something in you that cannot be manufactured any other way. The furnace is not your end, it is your formation. When we only trust God when life is good, our faith is shallow. And shallow faith breaks under pressure. Say this out loud right now, wherever you are. Lord, I don't understand what you're doing, but I trust that you know exactly what you're doing. That sentence is an act of spiritual warfare. It is a declaration that your peace does not depend on your circumstances. Say it and mean it. Then say it again tomorrow. Build the habit of trust before the next crisis hits, so that when it does, your roots hold. Sometimes God closes every door around you just to get you alone with him. When everything is going well, relationships are stable, career is moving, life feels manageable. Most of us don't seek God with desperation. We seek him casually, comfortably. But when the doors close, when the relationships fall apart, the plans crumble, the options run out, suddenly he is all you have left. And that is exactly where he wanted you. Not as a punishment, as an invitation. He wanted your full attention. Hosea 2:14 says, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." God leads his beloved into the wilderness not to destroy them, but to speak to them. The wilderness is not a wasteland. It is a meeting place. He strips the noise away so you can finally hear His voice clearly. Every distraction is removed. Every backup plan is gone. And in that quiet, holy, uncomfortable space, He speaks the words that will change the entire trajectory of your life. Don't fill the silence with distraction. Don't run from the quiet of this season. Don't rush the waiting room by numbing yourself with busyness and noise. Get into the Word. Get on your knees. Let Him speak. Because what God is about to say to you in this wilderness season is the thing that will carry you through everything that's coming next. You didn't end up here by accident. You were led here. And the God who led you in is not leaving you here. He is meeting you here. I want to stop and just speak to you personally for a moment. I know what it feels like to believe God, to stand on His promises, to pray with everything you have, and still feel like the ceiling is concrete. I know the guilt of wondering if you have enough faith, the shame of wondering if you're too broken, the quiet fear that maybe God is finished with you. I've been in that place, and I want you to know something that I wish someone had told me earlier. That feeling is a lie. The fact that you are still here, still seeking, still watching something like this, trying to understand God's ways in your life, that is not the behavior of someone God is done with. That is the behavior of someone God is actively drawing closer. The closed door didn't mean I don't love you. It meant I love you too much to let you walk through that. And one day, maybe soon, maybe years from now, you will look back at this exact season and say, "Thank you, God, for not giving me what I wanted." If this video spoke to you, I need you to do something right now. Don't scroll past this moment. Don't move on to the next thing like nothing happened. In the comments, type the word door. Just that one word. It's your way of saying, I heard this, I receive it, and I am trusting God with this closed door in my life. That small act of declaration matters more than you know. And if someone you know is confused, hurting, or about to give up on God, send them this video today. You might not have the words, but maybe these will reach them. If you're new here and something in this message felt like it was made specifically for you, that is not a coincidence. Subscribe to this channel, because every week we go deeper into the truths most people are too afraid to say out loud. This is the moment. Don't ignore what you're feeling right now. That feeling is God. And He didn't bring you to this video just so you could close the tab and move on. He brought you here because He has something to say to you. Are you listening? Every door God has ever closed in your life has been an act of love. You don't have to understand it right now. You just have to trust the one who holds every key. Revelation 3:27 says, "What He opens, no one can shut. And what He shuts, no one can open." If God closed it, no amount of pushing will force it open. But if God opens a door, nothing in hell can keep it shut. So stop fighting the closed door. Turn around. Look for the door He is opening. It is there. You just need to shift your eyes. Pray this with me right now. Lord, I surrender the doors I've been fighting to open. I trust that every closed door in my life is held in your hands. Heal the confusion. Replace my disappointment with peace. And Lord, open the door that only you can open in your time, for your glory. I choose to trust you even when I don't understand you, even when it hurts, even when the silence feels unbearable. You are still God. You are still good. And you are still working. Amen. God is not done with you. He is just getting started.